Hello everybody! We are back at it again, and this week we're going to be working on the walk cycles. I started coloring in Griff's walk, haven't actually finished that yet, so we're going to be doing that tonight mostly. And then if we have time, we're going to be trying to add some spots to Hazel, or just starting her line art since that is way easier. Hello! So yeah, let's just hop right into it. Hi, thank you for joining us. Apesrian, I don't know what your username is supposed to be, but thank you for joining us. One of the things I love about coloring in this program is you can just loop the line together and it fills it in for you, so coloring can go so quickly, which is nice. Hi Luke, thanks for joining us. Glad you could make it. I didn't realize today was Thanksgiving in the US until Luke mentioned it in my announcement post, so that's my bad. But this stream is probably going to be a shorter one because I still have a little bit of a cold, and we're going to see how long I can keep yapping for before my voice gives out. So yes, thank you to all the Americans tuning in. Yeah, I think there's a cold or something going around. It feels like a lot of people are getting sick lately, but it is getting colder out now, so that makes sense. Dude, this chat was just hopping. What happened? Did everyone get Thanos snapped? Yeah, they heard me come in and they went, never mind. We're good. And yeah, if you hear any coughing in the background, it's just Jasper dying. So don't worry about it, he's fine. Oh, and yeah, no one donate if it's not in your budget. We're here for good times and to force myself to work on these side projects like this animation. Since I get sidetracked so easily. Let's fix that. The one very annoying thing about coloring in this program is I'm working in vectors right now, so if I go over and I have to erase a line, sometimes it just takes out like a huge chunk or it won't erase anything, which can be really frustrating. But there are pros and cons with every program you use, so. Do Graycove citizens celebrate Thanksgiving? They wouldn't call it that, but I was thinking that they had just like a fall festival to celebrate, you know, the harvest and winter coming and all of the fun stuff, because it's a pretty common holiday in most cultures, I find, so they would probably have one as well. They just wouldn't call it Thanksgiving. And it's just, you know, fun time to eat lots of good food, hang out with your family, that kind of stuff. Marshall, hope you're well. I read your community post. Jasper can and already does talk enough for the both of you if necessary. Yeah, thankfully he's really good at doing that in real life as well, which is nice because I am definitely the more introverted partner. Who's your favorite Graycove character? Mine is definitely Griff's mom. Mine is probably the matriarch, even though she's a huge pain to draw. Making her character was really fun. And I'm planning on eventually doing just like a one-page comic kind of showing her background and like growing up a bit, similar to the comic A Day in the Life of Her, where there's no actual like dialogue, anything like that, so it's all just shown visually, so you kind of have to pick apart what you think is happening. And I think that'll be really fun. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I have a couple panels in mind. Yeah, you're right, Doctor. I think any like holiday or festival that has to do with eating lots of food would be Griff's favorite. Hey, thanks Wolf. Thanks for joining us. We're not too sick. We're getting better now. My throat's just still a little shot, so I don't know how long I'll be able to speak consistently for before I have to stop for the evening, but we're gonna aim for 2 hours tonight. The matriarch is one of my favorites too, but my favorite overall would have to be Hazel. That's fair. And finally some Hazel supporters in the chat. Yeah, I think each character has their own unique characteristics, and they're gonna go through their own character arcs as the series progresses. That's the goal anyway. So I think they each have something to bring to the table, you know? Let's look at the feet. Okay. I'm kind of eyeballing his hands and feet where that lighter color comes in, so hopefully it doesn't squiggle around too much. Macon, though, is the best character by far. That's fair. He's a pretty chill dude. I didn't think when I made him that he would get as much love as he's gotten so far from everyone. But it's kind of nice to see. Just this random little background character getting all the attention. Is this for a new short film or just conceptual stuff? I'm actually planning this on being for like the reaching 200,000 subscribers post. So I want to do like a big moving background and like a lot of other stuff that's going to take quite a while, which is good because it's going to take me quite a while to get to 200,000. I think I'm at 187 right now, so I still have quite a ways to go, which is good because I'm taking my sweet time on this. But it's kind of just going to be these three characters walking in a line with some like moving, changing backgrounds with some music or something. I don't know. In my mind I have a very clear image. We'll see how it pans out. I do want to do another short film eventually, because I'm not super happy with how the Car and Preceding Crimes turned out. I was a little rushed on it since it was for my college graduation. So I'm gonna be a lot more nitpicky if I make another one. but making a short film is a really long process, so it'd probably take me a year or two to make one, depending on how long it would end up being. Because the one I made for school, I was working on basically just that for 6 months, and that was when I was like rushing it, so. Oh yeah, and sorry Wolf, we're probably not going to be making Graycove plushies. It's really hard to find an ethical company that'll make them for you at a reasonable price, or at least a price that we could afford making them at. At most, in the future, we might commission like an Etsy artist or someone to make a couple and maybe do like a contest or something fun and give them away or something along those lines, but that's in the far future when we could afford to do something like that, and that would mostly be, for fun. Although Jasper did make me a very sweet Hazel plushie a couple years ago, and it's like this huge weighted one that if you measured it is probably taller than me, with these big like floppy arms. I can make 3D model of characters and can share it. You can download it and print them in 3D printers. That'd be kind of cool. I have been wanting to learn how to use some kind of 3D modeling program. I'm not sure which one, just because I think that would be really fun. And I think the Graycove characters wouldn't be too hard to make since they're pretty simple. They're not super complicated, in my opinion anyways. So I think that would be pretty fun. Plus Jasper's gone really good with 3D modeling lately, so he can probably show me a couple things. You know, add that to the list of things I keep saying I want to learn how to do or make. Who's a character that makes you want to crawl through a screen and give them a hug? Probably Russell if I had to choose one of them. We haven't exactly shown his background all that much, but he didn't have the best childhood before he ended up with the Red Deer family. But that'll be explored more so later on in the comic. Life-sized accurate matriarch print. That would be huge. She's like 6 foot something. I don't know the actual height, but she is a very tall lady. Oops. Forgot his eyebrows. Is the matriarch unusually tall for a hyena in this universe? I would imagine a hyena isn't much larger or smaller than a wolf, but the matriarch towers over Griff. I believe when I did the research, because I do try to stay somewhat accurate to like their actual animal sizes in real life, hyenas are a little bit bigger than wolves. So I designed them to be that way, but I also wanted the matriarch to be this, like, huge, towering woman. So she is also just big. Where, you know, Griff is already on a little bit of the smaller side. Not, like, unusually small for his species, but not super tall either. Yeah, exactly, like, biggest, strongest rules in this community, so obviously she's the biggest and strongest one around. I would mistake between Jack and Griff so easily if there's no height difference between them. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I made Jack so much taller than Griff, is so that there's a very clear difference between the two. But yeah, we wanted there to be a little bit of confusion since they are twins. But yeah, just as a clear way for people to tell them apart. You know, so long as they're standing next to each other, or standing next to Hazel or someone where you can be like, oh no, that one seems too tall. But for later stuff, I'm thinking we're gonna have Jack mostly keep a sword as a weapon, so that'll be another way to tell them apart if they happen to be, you know, wearing them in some way or holding them. Axe guy is Griff, sword guy is Jack. also watching the stream. I'm still not past page 3 on Tales of Graycove. I started reading it last year, but there weren't many pages published, so I forgot about it. Yeah, that's fair. It's easy to binge through, especially right now. There's still only 5 chapters, but, you know, I can only do a page a week at the moment. So it's gonna be a long-going series, probably. It's gonna take us a while to finish it. And even then, we've said before, we have ideas for, like, multiple story arcs. Is it true that Griff has more IQ than Jack? In one short, I remember Jack is autistic in his childhood. I wouldn't say if a character is autistic, that doesn't mean that they have a lower IQ. I do want to write Jack as more neurodivergent than some of the other characters. Like, I'm not an expert on writing autistic characters, obviously. But we do want to give him some autistic traits. But that doesn't by any means that Griff is smarter or dumber than him. I think they'd be around the same level of intelligence. You said the current book would take another 2 years or so. I mean, that's a estimate. I have absolutely no idea how long it's gonna finish us to finish Graycove. We have quite a few things in mind for it, and it's taken over a year just to get through the first 5 chapters, so, you know, it's gonna be a long process. We're gonna be going for quite a while, most likely. And, like, you never know, we might be able to speed up the process as we go. If we can afford to hire someone in the future to handle coloring pages or something like that, then, you know, we'll be able to power through it a little bit more. But, you know, there's so many variables, it's hard to say how long it's gonna take for the series to be finished. Oh, thank you, Taji. That's very nice of you. And yeah, it should be easy enough for me to write a at least somewhat autistic coded character as a somewhat autistic person myself. I'm just giving him traits I recognize in myself. Does Graycove take place in a slightly future time or the past? Future. Slightly future time. I'm not gonna say the exact amount of time, but yeah. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why Jasper started helping me with the writing, is because I tend to give a lot of characters the same voice when I'm writing them. I have a hard time with that. So they all come out sounding a little bit autistic, according to Jasper. I've worked with kids and adults with developmental disorders and disabilities when I did therapy horse riding. Oh, that's pretty cool. Hey, Phantom the Cat. Thank you for joining us. Glad you could make it. We're just working on some walk cycles today. Mostly we're just coloring in this one, which is super boring, which is why it's nice to do it on stream, so I at least have some company. Let's see how it's looking so far. Okay, not bad. I don't see any obvious squiggling with the feet, so going alright. Had a dream a few weeks ago where you collabed with U2s to make Graycove Lego sets, and I was so indescribably happy. Yeah, I love Lego. That would be sick. I'd love to make a custom Lego set. I already spent $15 on bricks to make a Griff minifigure. That's kind of cool. If you do make it, send us a pic, because I really want to see that. In my dream, the guard barracks was the biggest set, so I could probably start there. That's fair. That would be a pretty big building. I think I've only drawn a little bit of it in Graycove, just mostly the exterior, but I was picturing them with a bunch of like jail cells and stuff in the basement, and having like a pretty large building in general. I was trying to create the entire town of Graycove in the game Enshrouded, because I really like their like building and stuff in that game is really cool. But unfortunately, some of the updates made the game too big, so my laptop can't run it anymore, but I'll get back to it eventually. I guess that means I should start reading Graycove, I'm a Bad Friend. Yep, you said it yourself. Guess you're gonna have to start reading it. You've got 2 friends working on it. Come on, dude. Marshall has so much power right now, anything spoken has to get added to a hypothetical brick set. Well, that's a bad, because I just say stuff sometimes and my memory is really bad. But I'm like 90% on the basement cell thing in the guard barracks. Give Russell a gun. Yeah, that doesn't sound safe for anyone. Could you imagine Griff in a T-51 power armor suit? That would be funny. I did draw him some like proper armor at some point, not just like the really terrible guard armor that they all get. Because in my mind, if they get promoted to a certain point where they're closer to a soldier than just a guard, they get their own special armor made for them, since everyone has very different body types. I don't know where I put it though. It's in one of my files somewhere. His hands. Oh man, I've only been doing this for 30 minutes and I can already feel my voice starting to go. Earlier, Marsh mentioned that the walk cycles are for the 200k milestone. Will there be a live or like a stream for that 200k? Probably not. I guess it depends. I'll have to see what it's like in the future. Right now, like, it's hard enough just to juggle the once a week stream. And you know, it's hard to predict when you're gonna hit the 200k. Like, I hit 100k while I was having dinner at my parents' house, I think. So we'll see. Out of the three, Hazel, Russell, Griff, who would you have to comfort you at your lowest? Well, definitely not Griff. I don't think he'd be very good at it. I even made a short making fun of him for that, so probably Hazel. I think Russell would probably be okay at it, but is easily distracted. Hi, weird question, but do you have a favorite pen while sketching? If you mean like a digital one, then I do have one in Photoshop that I use for everything. I don't remember what it's called. It's one of the pens that just come with the program. If I'm using Procreate, then I have one that I kind of fiddled with. And I don't remember in what way or what I changed, but I made adjustments to it when I first got the program, and I use that all the time. And then if I'm sketching normally, then I have a mechanical pencil with colored lead in it, so it's like a red color, and I like sketching with that before I do the full rendering, because it's easier to erase. And then in this program, most of the tools that I use are like vector based, so they're just basic, just the pencils that you start with. Love your work. It would be awesome if one day you made a pilot. I like the characters, the story, and I'm up to date on the comic. I wholeheartedly think it could work as a show. Thank you. Yeah, that would be interesting. It would be cool to at least try storyboarding it out or something. You know, I'm the only one doing all of the art for Graycove at the moment, so doing a pilot would take literally multiple years. But maybe if we keep at it in a couple years, that might be a possibility. But yeah, we would have to bring in quite a large group of people for that to work. And yeah, so we have a short film for it. It is not my best work by any means. You know, I had to rush through it in college to get it done. And the voice actors were two of my classmates who happened to be on hand and didn't outright say no when I asked them to do voice acting. But yeah, hopefully we can make something a little more professional in the future. That'd be cool. If you need a voice actor, I'd love to audition. Yeah, I mean, if we do another short film in the future, we might do some like audition thing or something. I have no idea. I have a couple of people I know who do voice acting. The guys I work with Red Pants do all of the voice acting on their work, so I'd probably have them as my first choice for a couple of the characters. But yeah. It's also tricky though, because any work I would want to bring someone else on to help with, so voice acting or coloring, anything like that, I'd want to be able to compensate them in some way. And at the moment we don't have the funds to do that. I would feel a little bit better about getting like volunteers for voice acting, but anything art-based, like drawing, coloring it in, anything like that, I would want to be able to pay the person for. Because, you know, I would just feel bad if they had to do hours and hours and hours of work for me and not get anything back from it, besides, I guess, being able to show it in a demo reel. Or on their portfolio or something. Sadly, I have no voice recording set up, so it wouldn't work well even if I did. Oh yeah, that's the trickiest part. You need kind of a nice setup for it to work out. Thankfully, when I was at this, in my animation program, they had like a professional sound booth for recording music and voice acting and all that kind of stuff, so we got to use that for it. I mean, I have seen it. You're doing great as it. Just take it a step at a time. Number one rule is never burn yourself out. Yeah, I'm always in a state of somewhat burned out. That's just how it is. I'm working a couple different jobs right now and that makes it a little tricky. But it's good. I'm used to it. I'll power through. Kind of personal question, but when I post my vid/art and use your @tag, does that annoy you guys? No, not at all. That is the only way I'm going to see. Like, if you're making like Graycove fan art, anything like that, and you're posting it online, the only way I'm gonna see it is if you tag me. And even then, it might take me a couple of days to actually see it because I'm really bad at checking that on my account. And like anyone who follows me on TikTok, if someone tries to message me, I don't see it for like a week. I'm not great at checking my messages. I'm pretty good at checking like new comments and stuff on YouTube. And on Webtoon I check that pretty, like, usually at least once a day. On the new pages and the pages that just lost their ads. But that's most of what I do. Otherwise I'm not so good at checking stuff. And I regularly forget I have an Instagram account for Graycove. I don't think I've posted for like 2 weeks, which isn't great, but... Oh yeah, no, you're good, Luke. You can keep tagging us as much as you like. It won't get on our nerves or anything. In fact, we like seeing fan art when it's, like the stuff that you made before with like the Halloween posts and stuff. Super cute. We love seeing that kind of stuff. Keep it up. Hey Terry, thanks for joining us. Tonight we are just coloring in some walk cycle animation. Nothing too exciting, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm so glad you guys have such good memories for when I say dumb things. But yes, if there's any Graycove fan art, I like when it's wholesome, good fun. I thought for a moment I rewound the stream, but then I realized Marshall's just coloring a new frame. Yeah, most of this is just gonna be me coloring in Griff over and over and over again. Which is why I'm glad I'm streaming, because doing this by myself is so boring. Oh, we're getting there. We're about halfway done now, I think. Okay, yeah, just over halfway done now. Not looking too shabby. I'm not super happy with the patterns on his like neck scruff, I guess. But whatever, it's fine. In the video he's gonna be like pretty small, so it's not gonna be very noticeable, I don't think. But we'll just keep working on it. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Terry. Have a good rest of your evening. Just something I thought of, a mere suggestion, but I think it would be awesome to do some Graycove themed games for one of these streams, like Gartic Phone or Kahoot or something. I don't know either of those games, I'm not familiar with them, but we can definitely look into it. When I was first brainstorming stream ideas, one of them was just trying to create Graycove in various crafting games, so like Minecraft or something. Or Enshrouded, or anything else that lets you just kind of like, you know, be creative, build whatever you want. Before deciding to just start with art streams, because that's a lot easier. For me anyways. I really enjoyed the background character creator stream. Yeah, I liked that one a lot too. We're probably gonna do that again in the future. It was really, really fun, especially once we started doing polls and stuff, once we figured that out. And yeah, there's a good chance none of them are gonna end up in the comic, but it's always nice to have these random characters on the side that I can throw in if I need them. For like a background shot or something. And yes, I gave Jasper all of my login information so he can create the polls for me while I'm drawing. So he's definitely going to take advantage of that. I don't hate the polls, they're just hard to set up while streaming. My computer was getting very angry at me while I was doing it. So what did I miss? Not much. We're still coloring in Griff. That's the entire stream so far. We're coloring him in for his walk cycle, but we're almost done. After this one we just have 4 more frames to go. So, almost there. And then if my voice isn't completely shot by the time we're finished, we'll start doing the line art on Hazel, but we'll see how far we get, because I don't know if you can hear it, but my voice is feeling pretty rough right now. It's a more quiet stream this time around. I mean this with love, darling, but you sound exactly the same as always. Well, that's good. Yeah, I always sound sick. Hey, well thank you for joining us, Taji. Hopefully we can see you next time. And thank you. I will try to get well soon to the best of my ability. Hey Ben. Thanks for joining us. We must both get well soon. It is not a request, it is a demand. Chapter 3, page 9, because I just reached it. First one that pops to mind is Hazel cracking her back and seeing her spots glow for the first time. That one was really fun to draw. I like doing fun lighting effects in drawings. When you do a flat palette for most pages, it can get pretty boring after a while, so when you start doing something different, it can be much more entertaining for me. Obviously I can't do it for every single page or else they would take even longer to come out, but... Audio is cutting in and out? Well, that's not great. Our Wi-Fi has been a little spotty today, so that might be why. But hopefully it fixes itself. Audio's fine for you guys? Okay. Well, that's good. I just wanted to show my support for the comic. Love your work. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I try to help you with that, Wolf, but turning it on and off again is the extent of my technical knowledge. That's very kind of you, but giving me $10 to tell me to drink water, please, is really, really funny. Yeah, I probably do need it. But thank you very much, that's very kind of you. Alright, I think I have water here somewhere. Okay, there we go. I did. I drank some water. I am slightly healthier than I was 1 minute ago. I also don't break Kit Kats apart when I eat them. I also just start eating them. I eat Kit Kats with the shell still on. Do you mean the wrapper? Because I don't think you're supposed to do that, my guy. Not an expert, but I don't think that part's edible. Delicious mouthfoil. Yeah, before Jasper and I were dating, he once gave a like 30 to 40-minute lecture on why he doesn't like mayonnaise. And he still, to this day, refuses to eat it. And makes a fuss whenever I ask him to make me a sandwich with mayonnaise on it. So yeah, he has very strong opinions about some foods. Yeah, apparently that wasn't a deal breaker for me, because now we're getting married, so... In my defense, I was majorly hammered. You gave me that talk, I'm pretty sure, while we were at work, and you were completely sober. The entire mayonnaise just speech, I don't even know what to call it, because you just kept going. Yeah, Phantom the Cat worked with us as well. It happened multiple times. The mayonnaise conversation didn't happen just once. I was coaxed into it by the boss at least one of those times. Our boss does not like chatting that much, so I don't know if he was prepared for the full extent of the mayonnaise speech. Oh, yes, the other boss did. Okay. I thought you were talking about, like, the boss. I don't remember you smoking all those cigarettes at that one. But I definitely remember the mayonnaise part. Now that you've jogged the memory. Okay, no more my dirty laundry. I don't smoke. What is the most exotic thing you've eaten? Yeah, he ate a post-it note. I did enjoy the shorts of Russell using the voice of Abaddon, just seems so fitting. Yeah, the second we started watching that show and Abaddon came on screen, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get so many good audios from this. Yeah, he didn't need to eat the post-it note. I didn't care what was on the post-it note. I wouldn't have looked at it. There are other ways to dispose of paper. Yeah, the sword is pretty great. It's hung up on the wall in our bedroom. I get the anxiety and everything, but like, you're thinking I was someone who was gonna go through the trash to look through for a note. Yeah. Which I would not have done. Okay, I didn't know I was that nosy. You should leave the stream, John. You have too much of my, you know me too well. You gotta go. But I've almost finished the comic? Wow, you read through that fast. I mean, I know it's only 5 chapters, but still. Okay, well obviously he has to read the comic first. He knew me first. Finally, we're on the final griff. Marshall finds note from nosiness is much simpler chain of logic. That also works from what I've heard. See, I don't think I was actually that nosy. If he was being really conspicuous about the note, then I probably would be nosy, because it's like, why is he acting so weird about a piece of paper? But we wrote so many notes at that job that if he just threw out a piece of paper in front of me, I wouldn't have cared at all. Yeah, that's true. The note turned into toddlers. It was a very childish situation in general. Yeah, Phantom and I went to the same elementary school, uh, but didn't really, and like same high school and everything, didn't really talk to each other, but then we ended up working together at the same store for like 5-ish years. I mean, he also could have just written it down in his phone or something and then deleted the note, but I guess eating paper is easier. What program am I using to animate? This is Toon Boom Harmony. I have the premium version because I use it for rigging as well sometimes. And then for the usual comic, I just use Adobe Photoshop. Phones are too crunchy to eat. I'm so incredibly nervous for the next page, especially after the last one. I don't think you have to be. I am blanking on which page goes up tomorrow. Because I'm a couple pages ahead, work-wise. But like, it's fine. They're okay, probably. Not judging, Luke. You're good. But yeah, you don't have to be nervous for the next page. I really like the next page, if it's the one I'm remembering, because there's some funny interactions, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. You get to see a bit more of Cherry, so she's the focus of the next page. Yeah, the next page is actually when the series ends. Asteroid strike, they all die instantly. Sorry, guys. Sweet. Okay, that was the last one. So we should be done. And it doesn't look like there's any severe warbling on any of the like hand and foot colors since I was kind of just eyeballing it. His backhand definitely looks a little bit weird now that I can see the colors. But like I said, I don't think he's gonna be super big in the composition I have planned, so I don't think it's gonna be a huge problem. So I think we can ignore that, at least for now. Next I'm gonna get started on cleaning up Hazel. The really, really annoying part is definitely gonna be her spots. But I'm sure I'll figure it out. So I'm probably gonna do all of that off stream since you guys don't need to hear me cursing at my computer. Yeah, and I don't think there's too much I gotta do with Russell. Although I was thinking earlier I might redo his entire walk into more of like a light jog than a speed walk, because he has to stretch really far for this. But I think that's where we're gonna call it for the night, because my voice is hurting pretty bad right now. And I don't think I have it in me to go the full 3 hours like I usually do. But yeah, so we're gonna call it for the night. Hopefully I will be feeling better by next week, so we can do the full 3 hours. Oh, and you finished the comic just in time. Perfect. But yeah, I hope you all had fun watching this. It wasn't as talky in this stream, for obvious reasons. And yeah, hope you all have a very good night. See you next time.